The goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Thanks for having us. This is a very cool show.
Yeah, so through many iterations, and we finally landed on the weirdest one by far.
Yeah, simple feelings, and boom, you got a sound.
I remember this one time. I had been writing some songs, and I went out. I'm just going right in on this story. I went out, and so I was.
The story's longer than the song itself. We'll go ahead and play it.
And listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band. Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Today, day one of the daily live streams during Musikfest with Ramona LaBarre from Godfrey Daniels and Taylor VanKooten from Lehigh Valley Style. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, hello.
Hi, Philip.
Hi. This is day one of our daily live stream, the Your Next Favorite Band, kind of like offering each day of the festival to try and give you some content, help out with kind of, if you weren't at the fest the day before, we're going to give you some highlights. We're going to tell you like some picks of the Platzes for that particular day if you're coming down, and then bring on some guests. And so where else to start than the people who have been so gracious to let me host the whole show during the festival, but Godfrey Daniels and the managing director, Ramona LaBarre.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you truly for everything.
Welcome.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. And one other thing I hope this does is makes people a little bit more aware of this space.
We would love that.
Yeah. There are people locally who don't know about it, which is kind of blows me away. But I think there's also people who are maybe just a little bit farther afield that don't realize what's here, and we can talk about that some more.
Great.
And then even some of the artists. So throughout the week, there are some bands that are going to come in here that my hope is it helps them realize, wow, that would be a really great space to perform in.
Sure.
So
what do you have coming up?
So tomorrow, this is a very nice lead-in. That was great. I'm gonna have you as my sidekick all the time. David's in trouble. That's my co-host. So tomorrow, El Hiri.
Oh, great.
And Tioga. So that's two musicians. Sunday, Ryan Tennis. And some of the other ones sprinkled throughout are going to be people like John Worthy, Seth Witcher, Pepper Wine, Whitehall. So and then others that are like can't quite confirm because they're going to be coming in that day. Right. So they're like, we'd love to make it, but it might be like a game time decision. So I don't really want to say anything just yet. But all of those people have said, oh, and another one, Blair Crimmins, which I'm super pumped about. Actually, he's bringing on all the hookers. Wow. So his band is called Blair Crimmins and the Hookers. And
so they'll be here.
They'll be here too.
Nice.
Yeah. And because they're coming in, they're performing Tuesday and Wednesday. But because they're from Atlanta, they decided to come up Monday night. So they knew they'd be here for Tuesday.
Excellent.
And he said, he's like, obviously I'm fine. Some of the guys in the band are shy, but I'll make them come along anyway.
That is great. Wow. So just like some people might not know about Godfrey Daniels, I recognize two names in the list of names that you just said.
Excellent.
So I anticipate some good connections are going to be made.
Totally. And some of them like are gracious enough to perform. Many of them can't just because either their instruments will be at a stage or they need to save their voice.
Sure.
So not everybody can perform. But the ones that do, I think they're going to really like the acoustics in the place. And,
Great. Yes.
Yeah. And then there's other non-music guests too. People like Craig Larimer from The Morning Call, Cassie Hilgert from Arts Quest.
Another good friend.
Tiffany Sondergaard, Jack from the Bethlehem Area School District. So a lot of other cool guests too that are kind of sprinkled in there as well. and Ramona LaBarre.
Oh, thank you.
And the second
So
guest
happy
today
to be
will be Taylor VanKooten, who's from the Lehigh Valley Style magazine.
I'll be happy to meet Taylor.
Yeah, it's going to be very cool, very cool. But before we get to our interview, I thought we might spend some time. So obviously, this being day one of Musikfest, technically there was a preview night last night, but because I'm going to be going at this for 10 straight days, I figured I need rest. So I don't have any highlights from last night. I did. So the Lehigh Valley with Love, like their preview show was last night. I checked that out. That's out on his various, platforms. So that's a very cool watch. The other thing that I kind of wanted to do here too is like on our show that was on Tuesday night, we previewed like our picks and whatnot, but we also brought on Bobby Martrich from Eastern PA Weather Consulting. And obviously weather changes, but he's so good. He was like able to kind of say the range of what we might expect. Great. And each day you get kind of like closer and closer to a more specific prediction. And it seems to be coming into focus exactly how he predicted. But one thing I thought I would share each day is what's the weather for the day? Yeah. So the first thing we're going to bring on here is, I got to share it first, Phil. So we're going to do this. So here is the Eastern PA Weather Consulting YouTube page, and every day you can see here the daily forecast is there.
Great.
So we're going to bring this one up.
Hey, little one. Wawa's here to help you fly through your day
for free.
with options that fit your.
EPA meteorologist Bobby Martrich here with your outlook for August 5th, 2022. It is Friday, end of the work week.
So I'm just going to jump ahead
and
a little bit.
17 different beers located at 76 brewing. There are little EPAWA polls throughout the day and updated constantly. Musikfest, and that we'll get into that here in this again. They're going to be moving very, very slowly. They're going to be what's called pulsing storms.
What I love about Bobby is he really describes in plain terms
quickly, and then they die
what
off.
he sees.
So those
and
are
it's like this, here's what the model says, but here's what I know it's doing.
And that's why we had so much coverage of storms yesterday. The models cannot resolve what happens after
what's happening
the storms,
today is something where the physics
down.
behind it, the computer models just kind of stink
collapse,
at. So he tells you that. So the model doesn't tell you that.
When the storm collapses,
but the meteorologist does. And you don't really get that if you watch
that is called an outflow
regular
boundary.
news or
along those
anything
outflow
like that.
boundaries. You can
that's
have
what I
more
really like
storms
about it.
form.
And
that's exactly what happened yesterday.
He offers
very,
also like
hot and a relatively humid
personal
environment.
Stuff, so like you can become almost like a subscriber.
So we have
and it'll give you alerts, which are very helpful in winter.
Jumping ahead on the outflow
but also during thunderstorms, especially if you're kind of vulnerable.
And we might have that same situation today. The models are not really indicating that, and they can't resolve that.
But
so
anyway,
it's going to be one of those deals.
Basically, what he's saying is
I'm going to show
today
you
and tomorrow
radar for the
is
NAM,
a very good,
which looks like this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That we're going to get hit with.
This is going to be an example.
But even
of
if we do, it's like 30
seeing
minutes.
Pulsing.
It won't be all night.
Here. Let's just take a look at these.
So
right here, showing that
if you hear the announcements happen to seek shelter
here in the mid afternoon.
But
this
then
might not be exactly where it is, but
it should be cleared out. In less than an hour.
That's where it is.
Yeah.
So these storms are going to ramp up and pulse
down.
Good. And when because there's no shear, so not going to.
And this is the part where he gets into some really interesting
an outflow boundary that runs out in front of it when
also.
these storms collapse, kind of like in this direction, right?
The good news is the other thing he predicted is. Hang on, I think I got to stop sharing. Oh, I might have done it already. Anyway, the other thing he predicted was the second half of the festival is going to be like picture perfect.
Not too hot, right?
Right. So he said like Wednesday and beyond is like 81 low humidity and a sustained period of it. So, and that's good for Godfrey Daniels' Day at the festival because that's the second Sunday of the festival. So we'll definitely get to that too.
Hope that holds. Yeah.
Yes. The only other thing I wanted to do before we get to Ramona is, and actually, let me bring this up here. This was the promo for the day.
Oh, cool.
Look at that lovely picture of you.
There I am. A big picture. Cool.
So there's that. And then these are the picks of the day. So what you'll see is it's best friends who were a top pick for me. So when we did like our must-see bands, me, David, the other co-host, and Patrick Brogan from Arts Quest each picked 7 people we were super excited to see, minus the returning favorites. So all the people who we've interviewed are obviously highly recommended.
Right.
So this was from the remaining pool. And so Best Friends was one of my top ones, arguably because it's the first band on the list. I'm so excited to start Musikfest, but I really like their sound anyway. So the other ones are Marielle Kraft, Shamar Allen, Igor and the Red Elvises, who always put on an amazing show.
Yes.
Swamp Guard, and Tioga. And so this post is out there on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'll do it each day. We'll come onto the live stream and talk about it every day.
Cool.
And then given the opportunity, we're going to share a little bit. So I may not get to all of them, but here's Best Friends. I kind of referred to them as shoegaze hip hop. Like it's kind of like got an interesting vibe to it. So here's their song called Tired Eyes. And the cool part is this comes through the speakers, so you guys get to hear it. But like this is kind of the sound they have on most of their songs, and it's a great way to start the festival. You know, they're kind of like
They on today?
they're on today 5 o'clock. Stadplatz, so that brand new. It used to be America Platz out by Payro Plaza. It was gone for a while. The mayor and ArtsQuest brought it back, and so this is actually the first show that'll be on it today. So it's also another reason to get there with you. It's back again. It's a cool band. Great mix of everything. To wrap up here. So that is Best Friends. I think I'm going to jump to, well, no, let's do Marielle Kraft. Marielle Kraft is, and we still got this in front of us. Well, I guess that's fine. Let's leave it up there. If you like Taylor Swift, which many, many, many people do, I think you're going to like Marielle Kraft. And I apologize that I should have a second mic over here, but listen,
We're good.
I just started.
Yeah.
So I only have one mic. So here's Marielle Kraft. Very, very cool sound to her. This is a song that she has called We Were Never Friends.
Get this straight.
And you'll hear what I'm
You
saying.
still wanna hang out? Call me on a bad day. Come and cook me dinner. Let yourself in and act like nothing's changed.
Ramona's thinking about booking her already.
Definitely hear that Taylor Swift influence.
Yeah.
Where's she from?
Actually, I don't even know. Like, the way I pick up these bands is through the Spotify playlist that ArtsQuest puts out. And so this year they did a nice job of not only just, sometimes it's like, here are 2 or 3 songs from every free stage artist, and it's like a 28-hour playlist. So they did put that out, but then maybe 2 weeks later, a second wave of playlists came out by which genres is debatable, whatever. But like if you just spent a little bit of time in each one, now that was a much more kind of consumable list. And so this one was in the pop one, which I was like, let me just see who's there. And I was just like, that was, she's got a lot of songs that just have this very hooky, kind of sound, especially summertime, beautiful festival. That's Marielle.
What stage? Same one?
Let's see. It's on the screen. I just can't read it. Marielle Kraft. She's on Zinzenplatz at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Zinzenplatz was a very nice addition with the loss of Volksplatz.
Right.
It was a very nice replacement there.
Cool. So that's right downtown?
Yeah, right across from like the
building.
Wooden Match.
Yes.
Yeah, like
okay.
like
Great.
the Plaza Tropical stage is there.
Mhm.
Zinzenplatz is in that parking lot
Okay.
right behind it.
Cool.
Amazing that they don't get in conflict with audio.
Right.
Like, but they play their music and it doesn't seem to interrupt anything.
Nice. They're
Um,
pros.
Yes. They totally are. I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yes.
So let's listen to some Shamar Allen.
Okay.
Shamar Allen, I happen to have seen him previously, and he is from New Orleans, and he has an amazing sound. He plays like almost like I'm sure I'm going to get this way wrong, and if he was in front of me, he'd be like, what are you talking about? But he plays like a bugle. You'll see it. He kind of has it in there. But it's a brass instrument. We'll call it that in a minute. And it's not quite a trumpet. I think it must have a cooler name than bugle, but it gets a very, very cool sound out of it. And you can hear too, it's not just New Orleans jazz. It's got a rock element to it. It's got a hip hop element to it. He does a cover. I can't do covers. He does a cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, and you would just not believe how cool it is, because it's this kind of definitely can't wait to catch his set. Igor and the Red Elvises, people either know him or not. I mean, like, go catch the show. It's almost like, Broadway theater kind of like thing.
Yes.
Like it's It's so much fun. He puts on such a great show.
Almost mainstays at Musikfest, aren't they?
Definitely, yeah. They play usually 3 nights in a row. Sometimes in the middle.
Years.
They're opening tonight, and then I think they're here Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And they've been coming for decades.
Decades, yes. And they're from California, so it's no small trip for them. But they are amazing. Who else do we want to get to? Let's get to Swamp Guard. We'll do some Swamp Guard. I really like their sound. They're another one that. Do you know them at all? Because they're a little more local. Mm-hmm. Their sound is a lot more folk. You've got the fiddle, violin.
I'll see you later. See you tonight when the moon is shining bright.
Again, no, like I just haven't quite nailed them down. Like when I do the interviews, but with these, it's like it's 427 bands that are part of the festival, and I've narrowed it down to for each day it's somewhere between 5 and
the sun comes up
that I try to get to. So you're talking about somewhere on the order of 80 to 100 bands. I'm going to try.
I'll be waiting at home. It's the jealousy that gets inside of me, and it takes control.
And it's always worth mentioning. I mean, they definitely mention it, but the show is
look inside, see what you can find.
So even from the one-person singer-songwriter stage all the way up to obviously, but like even up to like the people on it, like either 7 or 9 o'clock for free headliners. Obviously, they're getting paid. But even the people on it noon, they're getting paid. So it is
much better.
So there's Swamp Guard. That's their song called "Death of Me." I think it's a great track. It's one of those ones that you just listen to that and you're like, how is that not on the radio?
Yeah.
And then lastly, real quick, the one returning favorite of the day is Tioga, who will be here tomorrow. Okay. So a little bit of a hook to try and get you to tune in tomorrow as well is they play tonight. I'll be taking pictures and video. They'll be part of my highlights from yesterday, meaning tomorrow. And this sounds like a bit now, but so they'll be on to talk about their experience as well, and all that good stuff. So anyway, let's just get some quick Tioga out there. I just love their sound. They're from I think they either met in Kutztown or at least the lead singer went to Kutztown. He's from Bethlehem, and he has a really funny story about his parents actually met at Musikfest.
Wow.
And it's just a good, funny story.
Stories.
Yes.
We love those stories.
And we open our interview with that. We weren't expecting it, but we always obviously spend some time talking about Musikfest. Sure. And he was like, have I got a story for you?
So is it Tioga?
Tioga.
Tioga?
Yes. Yeah. And so there's an explanation in the interview. This is, again, a great teaser.
Yes.
Go watch the interview and you'll learn why it's pronounced the way that it is and why they chose the name and stuff. It's a very cool story. Sometimes you ask somebody, what's behind the name? And it's like a dud. Yeah. This was actually a very, very cool story. So anyway, here is Tioga and their song, Bad Things. I feel like they've got such a diverse sound. They all take turns writing. And so, I don't know. Someone will always have something. So sometimes this is like a very 80s but other times it's just more rock. Their newer stuff is very, very mature.
I know that I'm in trouble, but you're cleaning up the mess too soon.
Greg's voice is awesome, so big fans. Can't wait to see their shows. Last year when they performed, they were on. They're actually on. There's one stage that's on at 11 o'clock every night. They added that. So it's like normally they're done at 11, and then the one that's like called the Town Square stage, the one that's on right out, the smaller stage in front of the Arts Festival.
The longer we play the game, the longer I feel the pain in your
And so that's the one that's from 11 to 12, and they started putting people on. So Tioga was on that stage at 11 last year, and they were on for like 35, 40 minutes, and all of a sudden you could just feel this. We said it was like tempest, like the wind started to whip, and you could see lightning like way off in the distance. But it wasn't there yet, so they kept playing. And there was just this like you felt like they were conjuring up this storm. We talked about that too. And with the threatening storms going on, I was like, Greg, what are you going to conjure up this year? Because it might happen again. So hopefully it doesn't, or like maybe they wrap their set in at 12
Time to
to
chisel it
start to
away
downpour.
from the storm.
But anyway, there's Tioga.
Well, I'm learning so much about Musikfest just in these first few minutes.
And so let's come back here and we'll get this off of our faces. And here we are.
Hi.
And I was so happy you joined me for that opening part.
Well, thank you.
I've normally have David on the show. And then I was just like, whenever I listen to a podcast or watch a show and it's like one person, I'm like, not that interesting, but two people bantering is always much better. So I appreciate you coming on for that intro
Absolutely.
portion.
Thank you. That was educational for me.
Oh, cool. It will be here. One last promotion, every day during the festival, same kind of thing. I'll start off the show that way. Talk about yesterday, which we didn't do today, but then a little bit of the weather, a little bit of who I'm recommending to go see. And I keep saying this. I'm like, who the heck am I? You don't have to listen to me. But if you're interested in guidance or advice or thoughts on, hey, these people are worth maybe checking out their stage, there it is.
That's wonderful.
And one last thing is like on our webpage, which is stereophilia.studio, or just go to Linktree/NextFaveBand.
Okay.
It's probably the easier way to get to it. You can go into, and on our webpage is the daily picks. And they're all there. So you can actually just pick the day and then it will show you. It'll go to the ones that are there. Anyway, so enough about that. Let's talk about Godfrey Daniels.
Okay.
So it is a listening room. I think that's one of the coolest things about it is it's not a concert venue. It's not a this and that. It's called a listening room. And I think that's very important. Yeah. And if I remember, is it the second oldest listening room? Or
it is one of the oldest.
Let's just put it
one
in
of
there.
the oldest. Yeah. And the one that we feel connected to and we pay attention to is Cafe Lena up in Saratoga Springs, New York.
They're very well known.
Been open since 1960. The space is a little smaller than ours.
And when did this one open?
1976.
76.
So,
another one that people would know is like the Bluebird Cafe in Tennessee.
Yes.
Like there's these rooms out there that are not like they're not intended to be thought of as a concert hall or a venue in that way. It's meant to feel like a place where you can just come and listen to music.
Right. And there's just a little more intimacy to it than a larger venue or a theater kind of setting.
And that's one of the draws is so here we are on the stage and we've got this quilt that we should spend a few seconds to talk about as well. But that camera is basically where seats would start.
Exactly.
And so the picture you have here is kind of the way that you might be able to catch a show. So if you have somebody that you really like, this would be the place to see because at most it's another 12 feet behind it.
At most. Right.
So even, the farthest seat is still very, very intimate. And so, and the other thing too is anytime I've caught a show here, it gets that almost when you go to a Broadway show feeling to it. Like it's like the quiet is very electric. And when they play, it's this thing that's just like, wow, that sounds so good.
Yes, where every ticket is a backstage pass.
Yeah.
The artists who come here are happy to mingle with the audience out front as people are arriving.
Mm-hmm.
Very few of them want to be sort of whisked in and out. That's happened, but those are the higher tiered artists, I'll say.
Sure.
But there are so many who want to be here, want to be able to reach out and just make that connection.
Yeah.
Whether they're performing or out there autographing their merch.
Yep. And it's probably worth mentioning a lot of performers will do a different show here than they do anywhere else.
Absolutely.
Because that's the other thing too is when I throw out the number, I usually say 75. I know you could get to 90 during COVID. You're more like 60.
Right.
So I just split the difference. And I say it's like a 75 person audience. And if they came and did their normal thing here and then also did it somewhere else, well, what's the point? But if you do it here and it's like all acoustic and you're normally electric, or they do I've seen some people do like tribute stuff here that they don't do somewhere else. Like they might do Tom Waits or
and it's not a
Johnny Cash or something like that.
typically our tribute shows here are not the tribute bands that are out
That's
there.
right. That's what. That's important to say.
But we've had some very talented bands come in and do like Willie Nelson's Red-Headed Stranger album, or a Townes Van Zandt.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like those are very, very cool things that it's like not only is it a super talented musician, but you're getting the intimate setting with amazing acoustics, and then perhaps a show they won't do for another 5 years.
You're not going to see it anywhere else.
Yeah. And so that's definitely worth noting as well.
Yeah, like a concert in your living room. That's the size of the space. It's very,
definitely.
Very
and but with better acoustics.
Yes, true. Well, it depends on which living room, but yeah. That's true.
Tell us some about yourself. So, like, you've been the managing director for
a number of years. I started out volunteering here in the late 1980s. So I came to a few concerts here and then started volunteering behind the counter, pouring coffee, selling cookies. Quickly learned that it was a good way to experience a concert without necessarily buying a ticket. More like being, part of the program, kind of behind the scenes and hosting the artists and getting to know them on that level is a little different than as an audience member. So yeah, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
That's awesome.
When the organization actually hired a manager, I was already doing some of those things, so I was a natural choice.
Sure.
Fortunately for me, I'm so grateful. For
yeah,
that.
definitely. And that's probably worth talking about too. Like, obviously, there's always a need for volunteers.
Yes.
So, what is usually expected of somebody who's a volunteer, and what do they get out of it?
So, like I said, staffing the counter, staffing the shows, greeting people, hosting, ushering, MC is a volunteer position, and these are all positions that not only do we as an organization appreciate it, because Godfrey's actually was built on the backs of volunteers, but also the artists appreciate coming in here and getting to know the volunteers. They know that the volunteers are doing this for the love of the music and not for a paycheck. And that means a lot to the artists too.
Sure.
And, they come back every year or two and they're seeing the same staff. They appreciate that too.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It definitely would be a good idea for somebody who is a musician.
Yes.
Because you're going to get that access to somebody and maybe either see how they prep or how they interact with an audience or, just ask them a few questions if you happen to know something you want to ask them. So it's like, that's invaluable, especially for younger. Is there a minimum age or anything like that?
Really 16, but.
Okay. Yep. Well, I just didn't know, even if you're like high school kid, you could still do it.
Godfrey's is connected to the Bethlehem area school district and the Charter Arts High School. And
very cool.
Those students coming in to volunteer too.
Yep. Yeah. I just noticed we're getting some chat. Let me see if anybody's got any questions here. Okay. Someone said there's a big ad blocking the screen. I think it was actually my promo. Okay. I was blocking my own screen. But then they said, thank you, that's much better. Well, good. So yeah, that was my fault. I did that.
No problem.
Anyway, so appreciate that. And if there is any either questions, comments, things like that, absolutely let us know. And we will do our best to answer them.
Cool.
Anything to share? So this quilt is always like a nice draw. It's the backdrop to the stage.
Yeah, it's iconic. People recognize that. So while we were closed those 18 months during the pandemic, we were doing some remote live streams where our host was at her home and the artist was wherever they were in whatever town, which, thank goodness for the technology, and we were able to learn all that, lasso it in, and do some good live streams. But when things started changing in 2021, we brought the host indoors to the stage at Godfrey's, and the quilt, even though it was only a corner that was visible, it was recognizable to people, and people knew then that we were positively Godfrey Daniels live from 4th Street. So that was our next series of live streams. So we kept that going until we reopened our season last year in September. So the quilt has been up here for 30 years, just lovingly donated. We didn't ask for it, but one of our volunteers, who was a quilter, took at that time it was a new logo, and applied it to with her art. And that was a very close friend of mine, Brenda Brown, who we sadly lost last year, not to COVID, but I am just reminded of this. Of Brenda every time I see it.
Sure.
The music that she thought to quilt is from a John Gorka song called "That's How Legends Are Made."
How cool.
A little bit of trivia right there. Not
How
everybody
cool
knows
is that? And I actually see John Gorka's on the wall. I'm sure in a couple of places, but I see him right there.
Yeah, so that's one of his songs that he wrote about his experience here between 1975 and 80 when he was attending Moravian University. Then it was Moravian College. But the artists that he met here and connected with, a main one, a key one for him was Stan Rogers. And that's who he's writing about in the song, the people who came through the club. He was volunteering at the time. And now here he is, I don't know, 15 albums. I don't know how many albums he has, but that's what he does. And he'll be back here at the end of September, by the way, first weekend in October.
Very
John
cool.
Gorka, yes.
Yeah. And Dave Fry covers that song too.
Yes, he does.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So speaking of Dave Fry, and here we are during Musikfest.
Yes, we definitely have to promote this.
Dave Fry, the organizers of Musikfest in the early 1980s, consulted with Dave Fry. Who should we bring in? Can you get us connected with the agents and managers? Can you help us out with stage management?
Sure.
And who should we use for volunteers? So he was a consultant. I mean, back then you didn't go online and get this information.
No, of course
so
not.
the Rolodex was a very enviable piece of equipment to have. And so Dave Fry was key in getting that first Musikfest launched.
And that was 39 years ago, I think.
Yes,
I think this is the 39th anniversary.
Yeah. So, and Dave Fry has played every Musikfest since then. He played every single one. And I believe Craig Thatcher did too. And I don't know who else has that honor. That is
it can't be
a lot of Musikfests.
It's got to be we're basically talking about the Mount Rushmore of Bethlehem musicians.
Yes. Yeah. Craig Thatcher and Dave Fry.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So that's quite an honor. That's quite a story. It's not really something that's broadcast and told out there, and it's something I like to share. I want to be sure that people know Dave Fry's part in that, the very early beginnings of Musikfest.
But let's also talk about that. So, there is a day at Musikfest that is there's a stage that's the Godfrey Daniels stage. So this year it's on Sunday the 14th, so the second Sunday.
Yes.
And tell us about it.
So we've been doing this with Musikfest, and we're really grateful to be a partner. Godfrey Daniels Day, it's at Platz, and we started out on Wednesdays, but we at some point a number of years ago we switched to Sundays. It's the second Sunday of the festival, so we're there from noon to 8. We give away a Martin guitar in a raffle every year at that event. We're selling raffle tickets now. They're available online.
So they're still available?
Yep, they're online. And then
while you're telling it, I'm actually going to bring it up.
Okay, we actually sell tickets there. The guitar is there on display. We give away a guitar, a Martin ukulele, and then this year it's being advertised as Martin guitar strings, but it's actually a bag of Martin guitar collectibles. There's a T-shirt in there and some strings and so forth.
So this is the main homepage, and it shares there.
Yeah.
So these are the people performing.
Yeah. So we start at noon with Not for Coltrane, and that is Michael Duck. He is also our MC for the day, bringing people on all day long. And
very cool.
Keeping the crowd entertained. Miriam Clancy is a newer artist to our stage from New Zealand. She's excellent.
Yes.
The Black Feathers are a duo from Wales, and they will be here also on September 8th. Carrie Marin will be in a duo set with his wife, Celeste. They were here a few months ago, and they're from Colorado. We're so happy to have them. And then Peter Karp will close out the day with his band.
Got it. And here's the Win This Martin guitar.
That's right.
And I guess if we...
So you can... Yeah, it's on our website. You click there, and that'll take you to...
So it's $5 tickets, and if I guess I'll just click on this, and we'll see what happens.
Or...
okay, it goes right to beautiful.
Where you buy it. Yep.
So, and people... Distance isn't... people don't have to be from, there or whatever.
We will arrange for the guitar to be shipped if necessary. I don't think we pay for it, but we'll arrange for it through Martin to be shipped safely wherever the ticket winner might reside.
Got it. So there you go.
Yes.
That
it's a big day. Big day
cool
for
thing.
us.
Yeah.
We're there all day. We're in a booth. What typically happens is, excuse me, people come and stay all day for the music program.
Of course, yeah.
And the guitar drawing is toward the end of the day, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yep.
It's a lot of community. It's fun to be there every year, and again, we thank the organizers, Musikfest and Arts Quest, for making that happen for us every year. It's really cool.
And then lastly, the fall season isn't quite announced yet.
Right.
So stay tuned for that. You
Yes.
can always either be on a mailing list, you can become a supporter.
Right.
The other thing, organizations, this is a nonprofit, so this isn't a for-profit organization. Right. So the volunteers are huge and the donations are huge.
Yes.
So you can obviously become a sustainer or a supporter. If you're, obviously corporate donations can happen, right. Sponsorships and so on. So there's those opportunities as well.
Yep, supporting membership. And our members will soon have the announcement of our autumn schedule, and then that will be announced on August 14th. We'll have it in print, who's coming.
Very cool.
So we've got some
and hopefully some your next favorite band influences.
Yes, absolutely. Sean Kelly. Yeah. Lots of good stuff coming up.
Oh, definitely.
Some of the usuals I mentioned, John Gorka, Chris Smither will be back.
Mm-hmm.
Carsey Blanton, who's already up on our ticketing platform.
Right.
Lily Lewis. Just a whole.
Yep.
Yeah. We're so
And when
excited.
someone comes, it's a coffee shop, so they can purchase coffee.
Yes.
There's usually snacks of some variety.
Baked goods, fresh baked goods from Z Craft around the corner.
Got it.
Coffees from Lit, Monocacy Coffee.
So all the local businesses.
Yes.
Great. And then it is a BYO, so
Yes.
you could bring your own wine,
Beer and wine.
Yep.
We got Molly's beer refrigerator across the street.
Sure.
The wine store's down on the corner.
So even if you forget to, and you're like, oh wait, I would like to sip on something while I listen, there's options right here.
Right.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ramona.
Thank you, Philip. It's really fun being here. So
Absolutely.
Thanks for choosing this place. We're happy to have you for the week. Have a great week.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll
and then at a minimum, I'll see you the second Sunday for
great.
Godfrey Daniels Day.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Great. And now we're going to bring up Taylor.
Thank you.
Look at this. We're like perfectly on time. I wanted to do 20 minutes of the opening, 20 minutes Ramona, and now 20 minutes with you. Okay. I'm never on time.
Wow. Look at that.
So anyway, hello, Taylor.
Hi. So
How are
you? The Musikfest gods or something.
Yeah, the stars are aligning. It's day one. I'm sure I'll be a disaster show by the end of this.
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So Taylor VanKooten, that's you, art director at Lehigh Valley Style.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to have you on, because you guys offer so much, and it's like, again, similar to like maybe people don't know about Godfrey Daniels. Mm-hmm. I figured let's have a conversation about what the magazine offers.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like monthly and $1 per, so it's like it's not even all that much of an outlay. So with it, I think the most recent one was where you not only had the issue but also the kind of the gala around like Best of the Valley.
Yeah, Best of is always the biggest program that we have and have had for almost 10 years. I think next year will be the 10-year anniversary of Best of. So it's one of the biggest things, and we haven't had it for the past 2 years because of COVID.
Sure.
We've done the program itself in the issues, but we haven't had the big bash for the past 2 years, and it's always the biggest party. And everyone anyone in the Valley always wants to be there and celebrate all the winners. And, we have over 100 winners every year.
Because it's in many different categories.
Yeah,
Actually, if you want to chat about it, I'll bring it up because the website has it.
Yeah, we have winners from all the food categories to health and wellness categories. We do.
So here's the main homepage.
Yeah. So the Best of winners are always the biggest thing. There's a tab at the top there for Best
of.
Yeah.
Boom.
Nailed there it is. I know. Yeah. Yeah. So we just had our party. It was only like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had the party, and we had a new location this year. It was at the new Delta by Marriott. But we had some really great live music from Kendall Conrad.
Oh, very cool.
Who's going to be
and she won like Best Local Artist.
Yes, she won Best Local Artist this year, and she was very excited about that. And she did a great job, and everyone loves her, and she's performing at Musikfest too.
Oh, totally. I think she's got
a few
least
times
2
at
nights,
least. Yeah.
But these are the categories. So there's a food and drink, shopping and beauty, leisure and recreation, entertainment and media, health and wellness, services and help. So it's like runs the gamut. I think a lot of people jump right to food and drink.
Yeah, the food and drink is the biggest
because people want to know who has the best cheesesteak, cocktail, whatever.
Yes.
Because it even gets into some pretty cool categories.
Yeah.
But to come and look at it for any of these other areas too is pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Just to kind of either broaden your horizons, or if maybe you're like new to the area, or I think too it's helpful here. It's like maybe somebody is coming to the Willie Nelson concert and they don't even know where to go eat.
Yeah.
And you obviously you can't go on North Side because it's all jammed up. So like, maybe they would eat in Easton and then come over or whatever. Yeah. So like, I think it's pretty cool.
You can always look at the food tab of the magazine's website and you can see all the restaurant reviews we do. And every issue has a different restaurant review. We also do like the restaurant awards every year right now. So actually that's something that I wanted to mention is that you can vote for it right now. We do.
Is it on the site?
It will be under food on there. At the top, there's restaurant. That's last year's restaurant awards, but you can vote right now if you go back up to food and go to restaurant awards there. And then there should be a little vote now button. It's very tiny. There it is. But yeah, every year we do the restaurant awards. They run.
So it's a write-in right now.
So this is So you just write in. These are specifically just restaurant categories, not like specific food items. Like best of is best French fry or best cheesesteak.
Sure.
This is like best restaurant in Phillipsburg or in Macungie, or the different cuisines and things like that. So this program's been running. Yeah, this one's been running for a while, but yeah, you can vote right now. And that's going to go on for I think just another few weeks or so of voting, and those will run in the November issue.
Got it. Well, I'm going to vote for the Funhouse for best overall vibe.
Yeah, obviously.
I do love it.
Yeah,
I don't anticipate that being a winner. So that's cool. Thank you for that. I didn't even see. I wasn't even aware of that. So what other? So what other either issues or themes or things that go on throughout the year?
Every issue has a theme. So the current issue that's out for August is our women's edition.
That's right. I was going to bring that up, but because Tiffany Sondergaard, who's one of the people that you feature, is on. She's going to be on the daily live stream on Monday.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, tell her I said hi.
I will definitely.
Yes, I met Tiffany because she was one of our influential women of the year, and we did this really amazing photo shoot up at Pocono Palms, and just featured our 5 influential women of the year, and. They're just incredible women who are moving the valley and inspiring everyone around them. And she's wonderful.
Yeah,
so that's
I can't wait to we really only kind of traded messages. We did a web call, but we've never really sat down and had time to just dive into a story. So I can't wait to talk.
There's so many people that I've met through who we feature in the magazine that I would have never regarded otherwise, and she's one of them. And it's just so great to meet someone new every issue and be able to highlight what they're doing and how they're making the valley a better place. And
totally. And again, if you think about this is something that we talk about with musicians too, or even just, culture in general. If there's not somebody you can see that does what you want to do, you just don't think you have that path. And so for any marginalized, person, whether it's gender, skin color, ethnicity, LGBT, whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you just don't see that, it's like, well, I guess I just can't go there. It's more as a kid. Let's say you're 14 and you're like, well, I just don't see that path for me.
Yeah.
But when you can feature it like this, it's like it's such a empowering thing where it's like you think about, you never know what 14-year-old little girl did you just inspire that I can go be a CEO or own a company or whatever. And it's like that's really cool.
Yeah, we're very happy with the group of women that we found this year.
Sure.
And it's all people just nominate whoever they would like to, and we go through the nominations, and it's always so hard to choose.
I'm sure.
Because there's so many wonderful
these people were amazing too.
I know.
There wasn't there was no loser here. Yes. We just had to pick somebody.
Yeah. So all very good. Corinne Goodwin is our very first trans woman we've ever featured. Awesome. So that's very exciting.
Again, that's just amazingly empowering, I got to think.
It's so incredible.
Yeah.
I can't even, when I was at the photo shoot all day, it was, you having all of those women in the same room together, first of all, whoa. They were all also networking with each other and getting each other's contact info and doing their own thing. And speaking of networking, another thing that we always do in August for the women's edition is do a women's networking event.
Very cool.
So that's coming up. Is it next week already? I think next Thursday. We're doing it at the Twin Lakes Country Club. I forget the name. I think something like that. And
sounded good.
It's Twin Lakes something. It's a new venue this year. So we've done it at a few different places over the years, and we've been doing it for, I want to say, like 4 or 5 years at this point now. And we'll highlight our influential women, but we also have some panelists that speak and talk about women in business in the Valley and successful business owners. We'll talk about their experience, and you can just meet different cool women around the Valley. And
that's very cool.
Yeah. So that's next Thursday, and you can get tickets on the website as well.
Awesome.
And lots of awesome things
Definitely,
going on. I know. Yeah. I wish you got to come to Best of next year.
I would love to.
It's always so fun. It's people always don't know always if they realize that you can come just as you don't have to be a winner. All the winners obviously do come to celebrate their win. But you can just come as a patron. And it's very fun. Lots of cool food and drinks. And like I said, we had Kendall. We also had DJ Brad Scott was our DJ this year because he won Best DJ. And he was also on the cover for the July issue. Looking very, very cool. Awesome. I'm glad that we're back to events.
That is wonderful.
It's been so long, and it's good to be back to them. So
and it's such a vital part. I mean, I heard on that Lehigh Valley with Love show last night, like Mayor Reynolds was on there, and he was just saying how like it is such a part of Bethlehem culture to be out with people, all these festivals and all these galas.
I was thinking about that. In 2020 when Musikfest was just like the food trucks.
Right. And you had to it wasn't 6 feet. It was like a half a mile that you had to have between people.
Everyone. Yeah. And I remember going just so I could get my island noodles, but
right.
Yeah, it was so weird.
It was
and
definitely
just to
weird.
think about it, it feels like it wasn't real.
No, it felt like it was like some sort of like weird dream.
Total dystopian
weirdness.
Right.
I had this weird dream where Musikfest, I sat in my house, but I still had island noodles.
I know, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And my mug was full. It was so weird.
Yeah, super weird.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad I woke up from that one.
I know, right? Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm excited for Musikfest this year. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Anybody in particular you're looking forward to?
I always love. I'm a cover band person. I love all the cover bands. So I always love to see the Amish Outlaws.
They are.
I always love to go to Strawberry Fields. And
the same night has Amish Outlaws and Go Go Gadget.
I mean,
like,
they're so
if
good.
somebody wants to go party,
that's I will.
I
be
think
there
it's even
partying.
Tuesday. I think
I know, yeah.
So that's a great one. We mentioned before. They're not a cover band, but Igor and the Red Elvises are put on that kind of a part of like an experience.
Yeah.
They're super fun.
Totally.
I'm not the tribute band kind of guy, but I do love Boathouse Row. I don't know if you've ever caught them before.
I think,
They are wonderful. They're great musicians. They put on, again, they lean into it. They've got like, the 70s kind of feel. That's typically the music they're playing is that like yacht rock type stuff. So they're in, bell bottoms and big collared shirts and funky glasses and stuff like that. So, and they're just really, really good. So even though it's not my thing, it's usually like 9:00 on a Wednesday or Thursday. So it's like after checking out all these other bands, you hear that and you're like, yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah.
So they're very good. They're very, very good.
Cool. Yeah. It's not quite part of Musikfest, but a new colleague of mine is in a band called Atlassian, and they're playing at the Funhouse tonight.
Oh, wow.
To kind of kick off.
It still is like, sometimes people are like purists. Or like, like Funhouse or Wooden Match do things. And it's like, no, and it's like, no, that's part of it too. Like they're kind of institutions in our community and it's not their fault. They're like right in the middle of it all. And if you were the owner, you would do the same thing. So like,
totally.
I'm kind of, I'm happy that they all do what they do. It just gives you more choices. Like if there's a given moment and you're like,
and they don't even start until 11, I think.
Right.
So it's like,
Funhouse is
Wooden
Match is doing their thing all day.
It's great.
But it's like, if
keep
they're
the music going.
Yeah, exactly. So I get it that it's not part of the festival, but hey, it is like festival adjacent. So,
totally.
So, don't be a hater, just embrace it. Anything else? Any other Taylor news? Anything, your shows you're doing, anything like that?
No shows at the moment, but I'm dying to do one. It's been so long. I'm not on the board of the Playhouse anymore, the Pennsylvania Playhouse, but I am still very involved. They're doing some really good shows next year.
Nice.
So I might try and sneak out of retirement for one of those. It's literally been like 3 years since I've done a show, which feels insane.
Well, shout out to the Pennsylvania Playhouse.
Shout out to the Pennsylvania Playhouse.
Yeah,
we love them.
Another nice fixture there. It's right here in Bethlehem up on Illick's Mill Road.
Yeah, they have their last weekend of Pippin this weekend.
Cool.
So if anyone wants to catch a show, go see Pippin. I've heard rave reviews from it. So
well, if you're tuning into this show, you're probably going to Musikfest, but
if you want to not be hot in the 95-degree weather this weekend, take a few hours to see Pippin.
But it is a great space, and it's got
it's air conditioning.
It has air conditioning, wonderful acoustics, and they some really good talent there. So would highly recommend that as well.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Taylor.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It was great to hear all about what Lehigh Valley Style's doing. And again, subscriptions are out there. I think, like I said, it's like $12 a year to get.
Yeah, $12 a year for everything.
12 issues.
You can always find them in Barnes & Noble and stuff like that too.
Yep. And then there are things in there like top performers, and so there is music and music venue information in there.
Yeah, we always highlight too on the website's very active for local events, so we're always highlighting if there's someone playing somewhere. Or if someone has an open mic night or something, we have what to do this weekend every week.
Very cool.
To see that, and you can sign up for our emails too, so that always we'll send out emails of what to do this weekend as well. So every week.
Awesome.
That's all on the website.
I've said awesome a lot.
Yeah, well, it's lots of awesome stuff.
Anyway, let's just double check the chat here, see if anybody had any questions. Nicely done. That's Fun Plots. Godfrey Daniels is commenting. And so thank you all for tuning in. Like I was saying, it's going to be a daily thing. So on the weekdays, it's going to be like this, 3:30 to 4:30. And it's like I was saying too, that little bit of an opening, 2 guests, sometimes 3. Might be hard to squeeze that in, but it's the way it worked, and it's really, really cool people, so I didn't really want to say no to anybody. On the weekends, because Musikfest is starting earlier, I wanted to start earlier, so I didn't miss anything. So Saturdays and Sundays, it's going to be from 2 to 3. So for tomorrow, it's from 2 to 3, and you don't want to miss it. It's El Hiri and Tioga. They both should be amazing. I believe they're both. I know El Hiri is performing, and I think Tioga might be as well. So that could be a very, very cool one. Otherwise, it's time to say goodbye.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to Ramona. And we'll close the show out.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you to Godfrey Daniels for letting me be here all week long, and to Ramona LaBarre for joining me, the very first guest of the very first daily live stream. And thank you to Taylor VanKooten from Lehigh Valley Style. I have, like we talked about earlier, tons of really, really cool guests that I'm hoping to just simply turn the mic on and let them talk. In addition to El Hiri and Tioga tomorrow, Ryan Tennis Sunday, and then like we kind of teased, on Monday is Tiffany Sondergaard. And lots of other good people too. I remembered Billy Bauer is going to be joining me one of these days, and Carver Commodore. So can't wait to have this all happen, and talk to you tomorrow.
It's all over now.